Yo, you tuned in to Gorilla Cross Radio.
Broadcasting live from downtown Las Vegas, you're tuned in to Gorilla Cross Radio.
Yo, 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 what is going on, Las Vegas? I bet we all know what is going on, or better yet, what is not happening. But welcome to the final countdown. It's your man, MP. As always, my guy, Jeremy J. Long. What it do?
Man, what's going on? It's a weird, wild time right now. I don't know if you've heard, but it's raining outside.
Oh, yeah, you know, that's the end of days. I understand that's when the end of days. Next thing, locusts will be flying around, and all we'll have to do to defend against ourselves is throw toilet paper at them. But that's all right. That is all right. We're live from Gorilla Cross Studios in beautiful downtown Las Vegas. Don't mind the people that sleep on the street. It's still beautiful. And got a special guest with us today, joining us, Miss Lauren Fogel. Lauren, how you doing?
I am good. How about yourself?
Oh, man, I'm doing real well.
We already almost had the locust thing, but it was grasshoppers, right? That wasn't that long ago.
Oh, wow.
The crazy grasshopper thing on the strip and everywhere. It was a few weeks.
Absolutely.
She brought us in and made us remember. I remember that. It has come and passed.
See, we assumed because of the biblical thing that they were all going to happen one right after another, but we've already gone through a few of them. Yeah, locusts and grasshoppers.
Yeah. For those tuned in, and if you don't know, Miss Lauren Fogel T10, correct? That is your Instagram. She is a model, athlete, entrepreneur. What else? What am I leaving out?
I just say model performer. Kind of covers
model
it all.
performer. Oh,
I
yeah,
do
I've
a little
seen
bit everything entertainment.
I've seen some of your circle ring things. That's like
Lyra.
Yeah, that's some crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. So we know we got a big topic to go on and talk about everything that's happening sports-wise with coronavirus. But we're going to talk to Lauren and kind of, you know, find out in Lauren's world what is going on. So, all right, we were having some off the air conversations, which are always great things. We got to tape those. We would have had a hit right there. We could have dropped the mics and been out this place. But Lauren, tell us, so some of the things you're doing right now, the lingerie MMA?
Yes, that is still ongoing. Lingerie Fighting Championships, LFC. It is women in lingerie, MMA fighting.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Sports entertainment.
That is, so is that being canceled? No, I don't care.
No, we do have a few events scheduled, but we don't know if the venue is going to stay, so we'll see. It's supposed to be on 4/20, so that's up in the air.
It's a good day. That's a Monday, though, isn't it?
Something like that.
So you guys, the late.
I love that you know that it's a Monday.
Well, my birthday's on the 18th, so 2 days.
Yeah.
Sure it is.
That public school, we know.
No lie. Truth here. You do have an alarm set on your phone for 4:20 every day.
Every day that it goes off. That's right, folks. I'm well aware of where that moment is happening. You know, and just depending on who's around me, it may be a celebration.
If anyone knows 4:20.
If anyone, yeah, you know, and my good friend of the show, Cato McKay, that is his birthday, 4/20.
How is that not surprising for Cato? How is that not surprising? Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? And then her stomach fell out.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a little inside thing for Cato, our guy watching.
Inside jokes are the best.
Yes, I know.
They are the best. They're best.
If we had time.
When you're a part of them.
Yeah, lady. Boom. So the Lady Lingerie Fighting League. Did I say it right this time?
Lingerie Fighting Championships.
LFC.
LFC. I'm just going to say LFC. Keep it simple.
Yes.
How long you been doing this?
Well, 7 years.
Oh, so have you won a championship?
No. I did pull that number out of my behind. I don't know. It's been a while.
Oh.
I can't be put on the spot. It's been a while. So like maybe 2000.
I'm going to be slapped by the end of this show.
2014?
You know what?
About 7 years.
Yeah, it's okay. She's like, I don't calculate things in my life. I don't even know where I'm from. So
the last interview I had, they're like, so what's your record? I was like, I know I've won more than I've lost.
Okay. That is a good thing to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we quickly looked it up, and I still don't remember what it is, but I've won more than I've lost, so that's good.
Yeah. Have you ever held any championships for LFC?
I've touched it. I've held it literally, but I have not won it. I have not owned the championship. It has not been mine, no.
What the hell? I mean, is it the weight division or?
Actually, there are no weight divisions.
Oh, you all just got to all get down, big, small.
Yup.
So small ones come in and just.
Yeah, sometimes they're feisty.
Open weight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grand Prix style. Everyone just kind of gets in the mix.
Have you been involved in a championship fight?
No.
Well, you can't win one if you're not in one. So,
Exactly.
all right.
Well, you gotta start.
I'm not quite there yet. Gotta work towards it.
You gotta start making some noise. Then you gotta start calling some opponents out, like they do in UFC. And
I want you.
you know, I want that championship belt. You know,
got to do that too. You got to point at it.
Once I work on it enough and get to that level, I'm not gonna make a fool of myself
No,
and call someone out I'm not ready for.
Well, but you're an athlete, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I believe you can. You're world class.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, that's all right. So when's your next fight coming up? You said 420.
It is, yeah,
You
it
said
is scheduled
You
for
said
420.
And where is it being held? Okay, you know what?
That's the fun part. We don't have a solid venue.
You can have it here. Gorilla Cross.
Yes. Yes.
Right here.
well, last week we
Yeah.
had the top rank knockouts in.
Yeah.
So I mean, we got the knockout girls, and then we can have the LFC.
Fun story. For the big fight that just happened, I was one of the girls that carried Fury out to the ring.
I saw that Instagram post. I did. Look at that.
Look at that. Wrong.
Fun story.
The champ.
Yeah.
I got two grown men who are quiet.
We didn't know we were going with it. I don't know what's getting ready to happen.
There's more to the story.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah,
just
no, that's it.
that
That's all. How did you come across that? How did that opportunity fall into your life?
Facebook post. Friend has a company. Was like, hey, fitness models. I was like, hey, that's me. And then I get email about Fury's walkout. I'm like, that is awesome. I'm okay with that.
So. What was that experience like to do that in a major championship fight? Gonna be a part of it.
Was pretty awesome. I've done TV stuff before, nothing that big, and it was just it was amazing to be a part of. Of course, there are technical difficulties, but still, the overall experience was amazing.
No, it had to be. Did you watch the whole fight?
No, we were backstage, and then I wanted to leave before the crazy traffic in the garage.
Well, you didn't have to wait long. You probably almost got caught up in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a crazy fight. So then you also play football.
Yes, I played football for 5 years.
Are you sure?
Yes. that I know. That I know for sure. Yes, I know. 5 seasons. Yes.
All right. Yeah, just,
Right.
What position do you play?
Safety was my favorite, but
Right.
all over defense. And that last season, I did end up playing running back a little bit and put me at receiver,
Oh, okay.
which I managed to make a reception before I got injured. So that was amazing.
Hey,
Oh,
there
man.
you go. So
Like-
you've obviously made plenty of tackles, and you've been on the other side. What I mean, do you have a position or offense, defense you prefer more, or
Safety.
like to be
I
on
love
it?
safety.
Safety.
I've been any sport my entire life. I've been defense. There's
Right.
something about defense that I love. But yeah, definitely safety.
you're
you
a
love
ball
hitting
hawk?
people. Yeah, she loves hitting people.
I do.
You do see shit like
For
oh, yeah.
sport, because we went over earlier. I'm not violent.
She's a non-violent,
Violent
hitter.
person.
She's a non-violent, violent person.
Yeah. So yeah, you MMA and you play football, but yet you're not violent. That is a rarity right there. You have zen. You have zen. That's what it is, right? You get it all out there.
quality.
It's like So what was one of the best moments you had while playing football? I mean, the thing you just like, oh, that was so damn cool. Have you knocked anybody out or anything like that?
No.
I
My
never
hits
got that.
weren't too hard, but they got the job done. The reception was pretty amazing because I never thought I would be on offense. I never thought I would be a receiver. And when they told me that, I'm like, these hands were good for a few things, but not catching a football. And I ended
the
up
point.
making one.
Yep. You ended up. Was it a trick play, or was it like actually they called your number like, hey, we know this is coming directly to you?
No trick play. I did not know it was coming for me though.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Look
I
at
was slot receiver, and I really thought I was going to go to one of the other girls. But
Nice. It came to you, and then you made the reception, so you kind of completed your. I mean, is that the end of your career? You kind of
pretty much,
Yeah? Okay.
it was one full series at offense and the first play of defense, I got hit on the side when I was planted in bye-bye ACL.
Oh,
Yeah.
ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch,
Yeah.
ouch, man. Well, there you go. I mean,
Hey, yeah, ended on a good note. It was like the first one. I didn't call my person at the time crying. He's like, "You're not crying, so is that a good thing?" I was like, "Well, yes and no." So
There's no crying in sports.
I am a girl.
Yeah, okay.
So afterwards,
no crying in baseball.
yeah,
None.
I just revealed that I am a girl.
You are a girl. I
Unfortunately,
posted pictures so people could see that we
I
have a
know.
girl here who
Yeah.
they may just want to, since they could watch. Yeah, because
Yeah.
watching he and I every week, they probably listen to it.
Okay, there are tears of frustration. That actually,
Oh, we're back.
out of context, that does not sound right. I'm not really that emotional, but anywho, okay, next subject.
All right.
There you
I
go.
like how she does this.
We're moved on.
She's letting us
on.
know. She's giving us numbers. Get off that subject. We told you. Ask me where I live. Ask me where I live.
Well, you see,
Yeah.
Yeah, so no one is actually from Vegas. So where are you from originally?
I was popped out in Ohio. We moved here when I was 1, so I am from here.
You are from here. Okay,
Yes, I'm from
that's
This is all I know.
This is it. The east side of Ohio is where the car broke down. You popped out, and then you guys ended up here.
Yeah,
Okay,
Isn't that the story?
yeah.
That's what they told you. Yeah.
nice.
Damn family.
Right, all right.
Yeah. What high school?
Durango.
All right. Know nothing about that, but see, just like where are you from? People ask what high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you from? What high school did you go to? What's your mama's name? What's your papa's name? We got the no. Don't need that.
Yeah,
Don't
all
need
the
that.
little filler things.
So
that,
fillers. So any gigs you're working on right now, or has coronavirus caught up to your gigs?
Not yet. I did a body paint event last night for TSE.
Come up. Don't gloss. Don't floss. Don't move. You did a body painting.
Yes.
I understand what the term means, but let me know if I understand the term correctly. Is your body painted?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. Last night was accents, but tomorrow I will be fully body painted as a robot for some event at Artisan.
So do you get this job on Indeed? I mean, how does one get to be a muse?
Once you're in the body paint world, artists usually do like to work with a few of the same models, but ultimately it's up to the client, whoever is hiring the body painter, because the client wants a specific look. But yes, once you're in, it is a lot easier.
It's an underground world.
Yeah.
Now we know things.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably be murdered. we know about the body painting underworld.
I think Mike has wanted to be a part of this world for many a year.
Yeah.
He needs some gig. I think he would make a great.
I think I saw some
robot.
of those pictures.
Yeah, it's just an excuse to be as naked as possible.
Okay. All right. Good talk.
Excuses.
Oh,
We don't need
that's what drew me to the LFL. I don't really care for football. I grew up playing hockey, but I'm like, wait a minute. I get to be half naked and tackle other half naked women? Yes.
I'm in. You like, I don't even need a
Yeah.
contract. Handshake is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It was super humbling learning the game of football because I knew very, very little. And I was like, all right, I'm an athlete. I got this. And I was like, oh, all right. Yeah.
They really
It took
explain
a
the
little
rules
bit-
to you. Or they say, go tackle her.
I thought it was going to be like that, but
Oh,
you know,
okay.
it was a
You had to do some
yeah.
plays.
Mhm.
So you really tried to win.
Yes, it was humbling and a great experience. It was a challenge for sure. That's probably why I loved it so much.
All right.
So, I mean, you said you grew up loving hockey. Of course, with the Golden Knights here a couple years ago. So you get one more of
You
those.
get one more call.
One more
You
call.
get one more
And
call.
we got to scoot you out into the hallway there.
Yeah.
By the
You,
all-gender
got to stand
bathrooms.
up.
So, obviously, you got to be a fan of the Knights then.
I am not.
You're not.
Oh,
What the
fun
hell
story
just
time!
happened?
Hold on,
What
y'all.
happened?
Stop your judgment for a moment.
Whoa.
It's story time.
Okay, all right. Let's hear this.
this. Yes, I'm obsessed with hockey. I will always love the Ducks. But when I found out we were getting a hockey team, I was so ecstatic. Yay! And being a model, I'm like, okay, I know they have little ice girls. I'm going to get on top of that.
Right.
Do the audition. And they pull me aside. and mention they were thinking about having a female armored knight as one of the mascots. And they're like, we met you and we need you to be this character. And I had just gotten injured and lost LFL and like some other, things happened. So it meant the world to me. I was so excited. And orientation, costume fitting, and 2 months after they did the hiring, they finally did the background check. And because I have been in Playboy, it was a no-go. And I understand it's a league standard, but the way they handle it, and it, unfortunately, the time in my life, it hit me really hard.
You bastards.
So just a little bitter. And insult to injury, they were good. So I ended up going to the NHL awards with the Capitals logo painted on my chest.
Oh, there you go.
I was bitter for a while.
Bitter.
It happened.
Good
now
choices.
I'm neutral. It's like,
Yeah. Hockey.
But you're a Ducks fan.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. You still
So
involved.
why the Ducks? Was it because of the movies?
No.
The Mighty Ducks growing up?
So I speed skated from like 6th grade, and being at the rink all the time. Oh, look, hockey. That looks fun. And I want to say my best friend loved the Avalanche. So, of course, I couldn't like the Avalanche. And plus, they were good. And I want to say they were playing the Ducks. And Ducks won. And plus, Paul Kariya was cute. So, I just dubbed the Ducks my team.
It's a hell of a story.
Okay,
I was
so
like 11 when that happened.
Lingerie fighting, lingerie football, speed skating, hockey.
She's like Forrest Gump.
You know what?
She's just everywhere. not
Forrest Gump.
I have that little
Forrest Gump.
Where's this going?
Lauren is the Forrest Gump of just off the wall. sports.
Beautiful woman. You just, next you'll be like, I was a tightrope walker. The circus came to town. Okay.
I am working on unicycle. Yeah. I do circus stuff as well.
All right,
Still
she's
walking.
just making stuff up at this
Yeah.
point. All right, we get it.
I'm an
We
axe
get it.
thrower.
I'm okay at that.
You're okay at axe
I
throwing.
am okay.
Sword-
I have
sword
batarangs.
thrower.
I have 2 different sets of batarangs at home. Which for
I'm
you
sorry,
not-
batarangs?
which you un-nerds, it's Batman's little throwing star in the shape of the Batman symbol. So it's a throwing star in the shape of a bat.
Yeah. I was like, batarangs? Did I hear that right?
I know you did stop what you were doing
Yeah,
just to
yeah.
make sure you're engaged.
Yes. When she was talking to nerds, that was me.
Oh, hi.
Batarangs. Hi. How you
Speaking
doing?
of nerds, I
Yeah.
cosplay Supergirl and Harley Quinn quite often.
Really?
Yes.
Have you watched the new show, the new Harley Quinn show on the DC Universe streaming?
No?
Like it's a R-rated one. It's
Okay.
animation and
Okay.
everything, but it's with the girl who was in Big Bang Theory, the main one, Kelly
Highly something.
I-
Yeah,
whatever.
whoever can say her
Kuko-
last name. Quoi?
Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons. No. So she's Harley Quinn,
Mhm.
and so they curse in it and it
That-
has more adult storyline, but it's
Thank
funny.
you.
It's like it's a funny type animated show
telling
and
me.
everything. You got to check that out.
I
It's pretty
am
funny.
going to.
Pretty funny.
Check it out. Check it out.
There you go.
So we're going to take our first break?
Sure.
Take our first break. When we come back, have Lauren Fogel. It's the final countdown.
Yo, you tuned in to Gorilla Cross Radio.
This is your guy, Dre Bailey.
And your man Goose Thomas.
Tune in to Let the Ball Bounce on Gorilla Cross Radio.
Every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific Coast time.
And every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific Coast time. Your guy, Dre Bailey.
And your man Goose Thomas.
And if you're scared,
You better go to church.
Broadcasting live from
Where?
downtown
No.
Las Vegas,
Stop.
you're tuned in to Gorilla Cross Radio.
Man, woman, cough again. Welcome back to the final
Well,
countdown.
at least she's aiming it your way.
Yeah, I'm the one who could die.
Yeah.
It's an age.
Hey.
It's an age thing. I'll be like, oh, Lord. Pap, pap,
That is
got.
called natural selection. It's time for you to go. It's time for you to start wrapping things up.
Oh my God! Let me get legal law. Where's our guy at? Welcome back. It's Final Countdown, live from Gorilla Cross. MP Jay Long and our guest, Miss Lauren Fogel, telling some interesting stories, to say the very least. Show's brought to us by our guy, Mossberg Injury Lawyers. From accidents to injuries, workers' comp, and even wrongful death, Mossberg Injury Lawyers are the #1 legal team in Nevada. Call 702-222-4555. Let them represent you. That number again, 702-222-4555. So, let's talk sports. Wait a minute. There are no sports to talk. This
would be where we normally talk about sports.
Yeah,
And since then, everything's been locked down. Everything's been canceled.
not even any funny stuff out there to talk about. But, coronavirus is not funny. I don't know, CVP-10 or whatever the medical.
It's COVID.
COVID-10.
There's a C and O, a V, and I don't know.
COVID-10. As they said, this thing's been, festering for a month now? We've been talking about it?
It feels like forever.
Yeah.
It's been the last couple of weeks, and man, it's the way this disease has spread across, from the Wuhan prefecture in China to, now there's cases in almost every country in the world. And just the speed at which this disease has caught on, this virus has caught on, it's spread through different channels. I mean, you catch it so easy. That's, I think, the scary part, and it's really quite serious for people older than 50 or have those compromised immune systems.
Right.
So the only responsible thing for all of these places to do is to do what they're doing now, is to shut it down and isolate and people to get control over this. That time, people are wondering why they're shutting it all down. That time allows doctors and medical staffs and hospitals to not be overrun. Number one, you don't want the system collapsing like it did. People are comparing it to the Spanish flu. You don't want the system collapsing like it kind of did back then in 1918. And then it also gives time for researchers and people to find some kind of cure or some way to manage the things that are going on. So you're really left with no other choice. I mean, now it's an interesting time because for the next at least 30 days, there's not going to be held any live sports held or anything like that. Everything's been canceled. So it's like, I hope you stocked up on your toilet paper because we're going to be going live with Fort Wars, toilet paper Fort Wars. You against your neighbors, against your neighborhood. That's what we're going to be doing. Talking 2-ply and triple-ply and quadruple-ply. So bone up on your education there.
No, that's it.
Toilet paper.
Just looking at it, it's we were speaking on it earlier. Watching games last night, and on one television you have an active game, and then on the next television it's talking on how they're canceling the game because the NBA has suspended the season. And they use the terminology that they suspended it. I know they know that it's a lot of money. Not that there's not a lot of money involved in March Madness. But they still want to try to resurrect their season if they possibly can, unlike the NCAA, where they just shut everything down, which, we definitely understand it. These universities have an obligation to the kids, even though the kids want to play. And I know I'm calling 22-year-old men kids, but in this case, they are kids. And, you feel for them because they've worked all their lives to get to this moment, to have that one magic moment in sports where they can win the NCAA championship. And it's not that it's been taken away from them, but it's just not happening. And, just to sit there and know for the rest of their life, this isn't coming back. No matter what they do, if they lost last year and they've been training all season saying, man, this is my year, it's not going to happen, man. It's not going to happen. What do you think, Lauren?
About the virus itself.
Yeah,
Sorry, I was kind of in my own little world.
No, that's okay.
Unfortunately, you started talking about that, and I have had those things happen and taken away for other reasons. So I can sympathize with them. It's a terrible feeling. It's things out of your control. You're looking forward to it and working so hard for it, and now you can't. So
yeah, no, it sucks for them. It does. the thing that was going to be interested to me, and from a drafting standpoint, March Madness was usually that time period where you had about 3 or 4 guys who took their game to another level. And all of a sudden, they may have been in the middle of the pack or maybe not even a pack. And, the Dwayne Wades of the world, where it's like, oh, my God, who is this kid at Marquette? And he just carried Marquette, I think, to the Sweet 16 or something, with great play. We're not going to have that. So, now some part of the evaluation process is gone. And now it's just truly going to be about the film that these guys have going into March Madness and, going into the end of the season. And, they're going to have to work their butts out because this year it's probably one of the few years where I could say it's not a really clear-cut guy in NCAA basketball that you can go, oh, yeah, he's the number one pick. Unless I'm missing someone, Quan, our producer, is shaking his head. So, yeah, that's seeing that's gone. It's their evaluation. They got to step their game up.
Yeah, and this is going to have reverberations across so many different sports. It's going to take a while for everything, depending on how long this goes. And, we're hoping it gets, we have some kind of solution in the next couple of months. But, beyond the world of sports into, the economics and everything, I mean, this is one of those, remember where you were kind of moments, and this is always going to be there for, the rest of our lives and everything is that, it's going to impact everything. So guys that were, players that maybe were on the cusp or something and spring training for baseball or NFL draft picks, these guys, veterans. I mean, we may have just seen the last of Vince Carter and he hits a 3 and that's the end of his career because this was the last season he was going to play, but he doesn't even get, maybe a proper send-off, so to speak. He hits a 3-pointer at the end in a game where more people were watching breaking news than they were watching the game. And so, the guys that are being shuffled out, are being shuffled out and the new cats coming in, it's going to take a while. And how are these leagues going to handle everything? But, in the end, I mean, it's taken out of your hands. It's taken out of the league's hands, for the safety of people. And so you're just going to have to, it's going to be one of those blips on the radar. It's like, with a little asterisk or however you want to mark it and be like, oh, okay, well, this was held here and this was done this way because there was no other way to do it, so maybe seeing this, what do you do about the playoffs, that are coming up for NHL and NBA that start, at the beginning, near the beginning of summer, if this thing isn't contained, if they haven't found some kind of way to, contain the virus or something like that, where do those get held? Do you just mark it off and say, well, there was no champion this year. Sorry, we're just going to move on to next year or something like that. Because there's only so long you can hold it out before you're like, okay, we have to move on. So
right.
It's going to have reverbs for a while.
Yeah, with 9/11, how long was sports shut down? And not trying to compare the two, but just saying, because I think that was the first time where they said,
it was a number of weeks. It was a number of weeks, if I remember correctly.
I was a junior, so I don't remember.
A junior was where?
In high school.
And you stop talking right now.
Oh, sophomore. Sorry, sophomore. Yeah.
I was a freshman in college, and I believe it was a couple of weeks later, and I think the big thing was like the Mets playing,
the Mets.
Playing, and Mike Piazza, and he was the catcher.
Gave the speech.
Gave the speech, and the president at the time threw out the first pitch and all that stuff, and I think it was a few weeks, but nothing like this.
Yeah, no, I mean, with these timelines that they're giving, it just sounds like forever. And, and everyone who's chimed in, texted us and talking to us, it's, when you're being confined and quarantined, and then you take you're like, all right, well, let me watch. I can catch up on my, not sports. Not sports. I can't even watch golf. I can't even watch golf right now.
Well, it's time to catch up on Love is Blind on Netflix.
That's a hard no for me. I'm not into drama. I'm not into those things.
So what do you do if you have all this time on your hand and you're out there looking for something to watch? What do you recommend
you're
for
not
people?
chasing no man chasing you. And
Oh, no. What do I do in my free time? I don't know.
Best interview ever.
I'm sorry.
Body
I
paint.
read. I meditate.
What are you reading right now?
Look at that.
Hold on. It's The Untethered Soul.
Okay.
I like that.
Went deep.
Yes, I like nonfiction. Working on myself a lot.
All right. All right. Let's say you do a little yoga.
No, today was a spin class. It sounds cheesy, but it's actually really difficult.
Spin class is just bicycling with another name, correct?
Yes.
And you just stand up, you don't sit down?
Depending on the class, you can do both, but yes.
So why don't they call it bicycling?
Because you're not on two tires. You're on two kind of wheel things.
All right.
You
All
are
right there, Pep
pushing.
Pep. Back in my day,
And I don't know.
we called it bicycle. We were damn happy to have it.
Yeah. Wait, what do you call it?
You're not.
If it's not a bicycle, what is it?
I don't know.
Oh, you're just going to make up a name now?
Yeah.
Yes.
All words are made up, so just make up a word.
Oh, God. And then the show went bad.
Get off my lawn.
Hey, I got a lawn. I pay my taxes. I pay my damn taxes. But
So what are you gonna do? I mean, you're
Oh,
Mr.
God.
Basketball. You're Mr. Basketball, football.
bro.
This is your favorite time of the year.
oh, dude,
And-
I quitted. My birthday's on April 18th. I always
Yeah.
say that's the time that the playoffs start. Is around that
So
week.
what do you do? Do you have Desperate Housewives on demand or something?
Well, you know what? I'm going to take a young person's term, and I got my lady who's listening. We're going to
Bachelor?
Netflix and chill.
Aw, yes.
Netflix and chill.
Snuggles.
Yeah, that is what we going to do.
Well, they got a whole new line of the Hallmark Lifetime type movies.
You know what? I'm trying
Built
to catch
for
up on my
situations
Criminal
just like
Minds
this.
right now. Criminal Minds and First
Criminal
48.
Minds. Criminal Minds have been on for like 20 years. What do you mean
I
trying
didn't
to
watch
catch
it.
up on it?
I didn't watch it.
You never watched it.
I didn't watch it.
Special Victims Unit? It's been on for like
I did
18
not-
years.
I didn't watch it. I didn't.
I'm trying to catch up on my Andy Griffith. Okay.
Hey,
All right.
hey. We watched Gunsmoke in my house, not Andy Griffith. Gunsmoke.
Gunsmoke. 20 years of Gunsmoke.
Gunsmoke.
Could
That
never
show
get to
was
the
on
end
for
of
20
it.
years,
It
yeah.
was on for 20 years.
Hey, we
20
do got a phone call if you want to take that.
Why?
Oh, yeah. We have, is it Mr. Marcus Berg?
No. Hello?
It's me.
Oh. You're like, I want to get
He
in on
said,
some
no.
of this.
He said, why would I take this phone call? I don't know. Explain to our lawyer why you would want to take this phone call.
And we have our favorite attorney on here.
Our fake attorney.
Our fake attorney calling in. Woo, from Mossberg Injury Lawyer. Oh, my God. How you doing, Mark?
Pretty good. What's going on, guys?
Not sports.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing's
You
going on.
guys
is what
are
we're finding.
quarantining, though, right? You're quarantined together.
Yeah. Oh, well, you got a woman here coughing on us, so we may be locked up in here for like a month. Who knows? Who knows? It's we'll be eating Kwan's doughy bread and pizza up in here. That's all we got for
Sounds
food.
really weird out
Yeah.
of context.
Yeah, out of context, it probably could. It probably could. So, a little of the legal zone, and I guess the question we have to ask you: any legal ramifications for anything that is happening? People are losing money left and right. I mean, we're hemorrhaging with things going right now. What are people's recourse? And I know I threw a lot at you, but man, this is it's not the end of days.
I just saw there was a petition going around about like performers and whatnot something about not paying mortgage or rent for X amount of time until this settles down to the governor and mayor.
Oh.
I don't know how real that is or if that's even a possibility, but I saw it earlier
I'd sign
today.
that. I'd sign that.
I know.
Okay. Well, what do you think about that, Mr. Bird?
That's
Well, I mean, from the basic level, I mean, I'm getting texts today saying, "What's going on with my hockey tickets? Am I going to get reimbursed? What's going to happen with that?" And of course, if there are no games, then you're going to get your money back. Otherwise, these teams and these arenas are going to get sued. So, I mean, I think that everybody who's paid for season tickets or has tickets to an upcoming event will be able to return those. Now, what if you're buying them aftermarket? I don't think there's much ramification there. I don't think you're going to be able to get money back from somebody. I had a friend who sold his Masters tickets, and he's concerned that someone's going to come back at him and try to get the overage because he sold them for way above face value. I don't think there's much recourse there. I think it's kind of one of those caveat emptor, buyer beware. You buy something, it might be canceled. There might be a tornado. There might be a hurricane. There might be a coronavirus. Not necessarily the responsibility of whoever sells you those tickets, right?
Yeah, because I mean, I guess you would take this as kind of a act of God or something like that, because who could have predicted something like this would have the far-reaching impact that it's had? But
I suppose you could try to sue the federal government. I have seen some things. There's going to be some bailouts potentially, and there was mention just now about paying rent and things. So there are mentions of bailouts. I'm not sure how that's necessarily going to work, but I wouldn't bank on that.
Yeah, I know the NBA said that they were looking at a plan to somehow support their hourly and part-time workers who are really counting on these next a couple of months and everything like that, but not every league has necessarily stepped up for that. So is it just kind of one of those times where the common man and woman is just kind of screwed out of money for right now?
Yeah, I mean, I was having that discussion earlier. It's, well, this is a safe thing to do. We've got to cancel all these events. Well, don't forget, behind all those events are jobs. Yeah. There are people that are now not going to be getting paid. And, the easy solution is, just tell all the employers to pay people for their jobs, even though they're out. And I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see people who are hemorrhaging money by not having these events still paying people to not work those events. I'm a proponent of these events going on without fans, so at least you still have the TV money coming in. I understand that, we don't want our athletes getting exposed to these things, but there's got to be a better solution, maybe some testing or something to have these events go forward. But, and the other thing is, so we postpone it or we suspend the season. When is it ever going to be a safe time to pick it up? I don't see that happening in the next couple weeks, maybe even couple months. So there's going to be a risk, too, that now they're kind of putting themselves I don't want to say in liabilities way, but I mean they're putting themselves out there to say it's not safe now. Okay, now you're the guardian of safety. So when you tell me it's okay to go back, you're telling me it's going to be safe. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to be responsible for making that decision. That's why I would have said let's continue to do this, and then when fans, we think it's safer for fans to come in, we're going to warn them, but let them know they can come back. But there could be some repercussions there. But from the flip side, the players, if players are, let's just say everyone's being quarantined and you're making an athlete come out of their quarantine to play in this game, you better make sure they're safe. And I think that's the standpoint of the owners in these leagues, why they don't want to be liable for somebody getting sick and, potentially, dying on their watch.
Yeah, no, and you have a good point there. It's from your standpoint, then you thought the NCAA was just a little too knee-jerky?
That's my opinion. I get it. You want to keep people safe, but at what expense? Now there's not going to be a tournament, or you're going to delay it to a later point. The idea is to keep away large crowds. Well, having 20 players on a court, 10 players on a court, and 10 on the bench. That's not really a large crowd. So I think there's a way to keep it safe. I think it's a little knee-jerk of reaction, but hey, I'm not making that decision.
Yeah, we're talking to Marcus Berg, Mossberg injury lawyer. Yeah, no, we were talking about it earlier. When this was happening last night, it seemed like what the hell is going on? And then, at a point this afternoon, I actually turned on the television to watch Rutgers and Michigan, and then I saw that there was going to be no games, and it just hit me like a hammer, and I'm going, oh my God, what the hell is going to happen? And then it just, the dominoes just kept coming. I don't know what we can do as a country to get things back on track, because I think from a financial scenario, man, this is going to be worse than a depression. Especially if you're talking about going on for a month, and I don't know, man. It's I
agree. I think sports have led the way in a lot of things in this country, and by doing this, and maybe, like you said, a knee-jerk reaction, now they're leading the way and have everybody thinking, do we need to close our doors? And it's going to just have a potential huge domino effect on our economy when, is there that much reason? I mean, it's a virus. It's not the plague necessarily, right? And we're talking about, 1% of people that get it dying? You can't shut down the country forever, right?
Yeah, but what, and I know what happened. And, to use the term, pro athletes, and it kind of trickles down into the college arena, they're commodities. They're literally commodities. And these billionaires are looking like, whoa. An athlete got it? Hold on, one of yours did? Wait, two of yours did? Oh, hell, shut this down. Shut this down right now, because if my guy gets it, I'm not trying to take, like you were saying earlier, the responsibility because I'm the team owner of it, especially if he happened to die from it, which is probably far-fetched. But, and then they just said, man, we got to stop this. And then those were the first set of dominoes that fell, and it's money, but in some of these cases, I do believe it was the right thing, especially in the college kids. I believe they could have worked it out better long-term than canceling the whole thing. But, these pros, kind of going around in circles, but what the pros did, because it is about money, they didn't cancel their season. Like, no, we can come up with a plan. Just give us a minute. Just give us a minute. We want to do the right thing.
Well, why don't you make it optional? You have the option to come into work today.
Right. All right. For so many small businesses out there, I mean, if you work at a regular office or something like that, and your boss is like, well, there's not a federal mandate. They're not saying you can't come to work or something like that. And you go and you catch something there. I mean, does that open that business up then to litigation? You made me come into the office when you knew there was a disease out there. And now not only am I sick for this period of time, now I'm out money, hospital bills and everything else. I mean, is this something that, lawyers are prepared for? I mean, is this something you've argued before, or is this kind of new territory for everybody involved?
I mean, that's definitely an interesting point. Never on a level like this where you're talking about a virus. I mean, I get it if you're talking about something like HIV and you're exposing people to needles. We definitely had the colonoscopy case in Las Vegas where we had that issue with people reusing needles that were not safe or sanitary. So on that level, yes. But here you wouldn't be exposing anybody to a known virus. Now, yes, if you knew someone in your office had that virus and you made everyone come to work, that's a different scenario. But when you're talking about, well, the world has it, we've got to close down, that's when it's gone too far. And so, yes, the NBA probably did the right thing when one of their players was diagnosed with it. We can't subject other players to play against this player. But also, what they could have done was said that player can't play, and let's move on. And that's to me when everybody where I am and everybody in most parts of this country is still going to work. Right. So we're not at the scenario yet where everybody's quarantined in their house. So why are we saying that these athletes can't go back to work? Because there is the same risk of them being out in public. Now, if you're telling these athletes you need to go home and you're quarantined, that's different. But the way I see it, these athletes are just going to the restaurants, hanging out. They're just not working at this point. So I think at this time it's a little bit of an overreaction. But, yes, you do make a good point that if somebody knows that they're subjecting you to a virus, then there could potentially be litigation there and a decent claim. We just went through this scenario where there was a legal event, and somebody said, I think you should cancel this event. Otherwise, you're going to expose us all unnecessarily to this risk. Now, there they have a choice whether or not they go to that event. So, at work, you don't necessarily have a choice. But you could also, like I said, you could make it optional. You could make work optional. Employers can do that. But unless there's a known risk that somebody in the office has that virus or has contracted it or potentially has contracted it, I mean, I don't think there's really an issue. But when somebody has, you need to take all protocols and measures to make sure nobody else gets it. Send everybody home, close down the office, sanitize it. Once you know, then you have no excuse.
Say it, Andy.
Well, say it. I'm sorry, everyone. I tried to get everyone off work tomorrow, but nope. Y'all better get your ass to the office and make that money.
Get that bread. Hey, Mark, you actually hit on something that I hadn't even thought about. These athletes aren't being paid being at home, are they?
Well, I think most of the athletes have contracts that pay them for the season. But that's a good question because I know the NFL players get paid game checks for every game. So if the game doesn't happen, and they might, that's a good question for the union, the collective bargaining. What's going to happen with this? That's why it's very important that they play these games at some point and they don't cancel the season. It's a lot easier for the NCAA to cancel it where nobody's getting paid, right? Now you have this issue of players being paid.
Supposedly.
Except for the fine
They've
folks in
already been
Maryland.
paid. They're not getting paid any extra.
All right, they got that check up front. They got that check up front.
That's sponsorship money.
Shoot, yeah, talking to Marcus Berg, Mossberg Injury Lawyers, the Legal Zone. Question. I didn't have a question. I just wanted to say question. Filler. It was filler. I literally did not have a question. I said question and I didn't have a question.
It's an automatic thing.
It was just an automatic thing. You're like,
oh,
question. I'm smart. Question. I had no question. I'm sorry. I got nothing. Jeremy, what you got?
Well, that is a good time to let Mark tell us where people can find his wonderful law firm.
Mossberg Injury Lawyers, 702-222-4555.
All right. Thank you so much, Mark. We'll talk to you next week about, well, we'll figure out something to talk to you about next week. It won't be sports, but it'll be something.
All right, you guys stay safe.
All right, bye. So this is at one point of the show, we're going to ask you to give us your best sports story. I mean, yeah, you got lingerie, you got the ring, you got, yeah. What is your favorite sports story?
I think I already
You hit it?
told, yeah.
Paige?
I mean, the Golden Knight thing is pretty awesome. I would have been the first female
That would have been cool.
NHL mascot. And it sounds trivial. Oh, you didn't get the gig, boo-hoo. But at the time in my life, it meant the world to me. Like, yeah.
You were there. I mean, you were at the literal door. So, no. I get that. Then
It wasn't just another gig. It meant so much to me.
To me, that's so trivial. I mean, you being in Playboy or whatever, who cares?
Yeah, it's content.
Especially, in this town. And I get it that it's a league-wide thing, but, you got athletes that beat their wives and drink and drive and do, all kinds of stuff, but you're going to sideline a female because she was in Playboy. I mean, to me, it seems idiotic.
That should have been at maybe auditions or something, and
something like that.
Another insult to injury. There were girls who were strippers, but when you Google their name, or topless shows, when you Google someone's name, that list doesn't come up. But you Google me, and hey, that comes up.
Damn.
And I was a good girl. I was bitter, but I wasn't bitter enough to rat those girls out. I was proud of myself about that.
I didn't rat nobody out.
I didn't rat anybody out.
Snitches get stitches. I remember from the streets.
Snitches, yeah, that's it.
The hard streets of Durango. Durango High School.
We appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Sorry, it's a little bit boring.
No.
In my old age, what do I do in my spare time?
You were not boring. There was no.
She's reading The Untethered Soul: The Journey Beyond Yourself, because she's all about self.
That's it.
There you go.
How can people follow you?
At Lauren Fogel 10 on Instagram.
That's it. Those painted pictures, are they up there?
There are all kinds of pictures on there.
You heard it right here.
Fun, silly, nerdy, sexy, entertaining, sporty. Yes, because I'm a very diverse character.
You heard that right there. I don't even know what that was. I thought I love that. Hey, folks, appreciate you joining us. Thanks to Marcus Berg, Mossberg Injury Lawyers. You know where to find him. Check him out. Hit him up. He and Boyd. Jay Long. Sports.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens next week.
Yeah. It's a sports network. It should be fun this next
Start
week.
brushing up on your video games as we're talking about next week.
1981. Oh, those were the good old years.
Atari.
Talk to you soon, guys. Peace.